Good evening and welcome to the Front Office Podcast. This is your host, Marcus Cameron. As always, our co host is Sean Elwood, which will be joining the show in June. Can't wait for that day. We'll have a bigger panel, we'll have some other things going on, so that'll be a good look for the summertime, I think so. In Columbia, South Carolina, it's kind of rainy, cold. Memorial Day weekend, it's kind of shitty weather, to be honest with you, but happy to be here. All the subscribers, definitely sorry about the delay for this particular episode. Had a lot going on, a lot of graduations, things of that nature. Trying to get to. We have two big subjects to cover today. The first is going to be a preview of Game 6 tonight, which should be airing in about an hour and a half. It's like 6:30 or 6:10 our time. And should be an interesting game. The second thing I want to cover is the Kwame Brown and Shannon Sharp thing. I'm not going to go over, debating those two or, getting into the drama portion of it, but kind of more or less want to break down what he said and kind of make sure we all got the proper perspective on it and just give you our opinion in regards to that. So without further ado, let's get started. Game 6, the Miami Heat and Boston Celtics. The game's in Miami tonight. Just a brief recap of Game 5. I thought the Celtics were, bottom line, the more aggressive team. They came out and jumped on them right from the gate. They controlled the boards. Defensively, they were great. I think White being in front, the starting lineup is really giving them a boost. They'll be starting to see the difference. It'll be interesting to see if Spoelstra adjusts to that tonight. Gabe Vincent should be back, in defense of the Miami Heat. He was out Game 5, and I know a lot of people were like, oh, well, he doesn't really – it makes a difference. Like I said before, the Miami Heat have to have every person on deck and ready to be able to contribute to keep moving forward. I don't think it's fair to just put it all on Jimmy. I don't think it's fair to put it all on LeBron. I don't think it's fair to put it all on Kobe, Mike. That's just my understanding of basketball. It's a team game. It's not up to one person. And Jimmy has gave you playoff Jimmy performances at least 4 or 5 times so far throughout these playoffs. So everybody has to be on deck and ready to go. He can't continue to do that. That's just unreasonable to ask him to do that every single night. Jordan didn't do it every single night. Kobe didn't do it every single night. LeBron didn't do it every single night. And if we're going to put Jimmy up there and say, he's one of the better players in the playoffs right now, then you got to hold him to the same standard. But at the same time, I think holding him to the same standard does mean you have to deliver. And I wasn't happy with the amount of shots that he took in Game 5. I don't know if that was tired legs or what, but 10 shots is not going to get it done. Like that, come on, bro. 10. I mean, he's effective. I know he's playing hard, but clearly the other guys wasn't getting it done. And at that point in time, you have to kind of assert yourself a little sooner than that. I thought he didn't take enough shots. I think Jason Tatum is turning into what I think he is, which is the next face of the NBA. I know a lot of people are going to be like, oh, well, so what? It's a couple games. I need y'all to break down some perspective on Jason Tatum. Jason Tatum is 25 years old. He's been to the conference finals 4 times and been to the finals once. He's on track with the Kobes, with the Jordans, with the LeBrons to start winning a few rings here. And when he does, I'm telling you, that's the guy that the NBA is going to push. They want Victor coming from France, but they don't know what's going to happen. They know what they got in Tatum. That's going to be the guy, but he has to get it done. And, I just love his demeanor. It's never up. It's never down. You don't never really see him pouting or complaining whether they lose, and you don't see him too hyped when they win, which I feel like is the right mind frame. Going into tonight's game, I think this is a tough one for me because, well, first of all, I haven't even talked to Elwood. I know where he's going. He's definitely going with the Celtics. Okay, it's not even a question. But he's a reasonable fan. He understands the dangers of the game. Tonight's game. It's in Miami. Hostile environment. Closeout game. It can go real bad real soon, especially if they're knocking down the threes. I'm gonna go with the Celtics. I might regret that, but I'm going with them because I picked, and anybody who's talked sports with me, recently or since the basketball season started, knows that I said the Boston Celtics would probably win the NBA title. Even though I do think Denver's the best team, I've had a chance to actually watch them, analyze them, break them down, just look at everything they got going on. That is definitely the best team. Those guys are motivated over there. But I did pick Boston to win the whole thing. So I'm going to go with Boston tonight because that's the only way we get to Game 7 and get them to the finals to find out. I'm going with Boston because I feel like, just like I said in episode 2, I think that was, Miami doesn't have the better roster. Boston has the better roster. This is basketball. It's not football. It's not college. In football, you got one game. When you get to the playoffs, you got one game. And the best team doesn't always win. I mean, that's just the bottom line. The best team doesn't always win. In basketball, it's a little different. The percentages are a little higher for the better team to win because you got to win 4 times. It's not a high percentage that the lesser team is going to win 4 games. We've seen it happen, and every time it does happen, I guarantee you most people kind of go back and question themselves like, were they really the better team? I'm not going to get into examples because I kind of want to keep these episodes that when it's just me, no special effects or anything like that, under 20 minutes. So, but, if you're following what I'm saying, then you understand what I'm saying in regards to these teams that are playing have superstars. Boston has a superstar and probably I would say a star or all-star in Jaylen Brown. Malcolm Brogdon is the 6th man of the year. I'm not talking about awards. I'm just saying production-wise. These guys, this is what Jimmy Butler and the Heat are going up against. And Bam Adebayo, I love his game. I told a friend of mine that if he ever learned how to shoot the mid-range super effectively, he could be a top 5 player, maybe even the best player in the NBA because he already knows how to run offense. He already knows how to control tempo. He plays big. He's aggressive. He's a great defender. He has a chance, but he's not there yet. So he can't really help Jimmy offensively. I think the keys to the game tonight, for the Heat to win, it has to be balance, pace, and they got to force turnovers. Bottom line, those are the 3 things that they need to do in order to win this game tonight. If they can do that, they're going to win. The Celtics, they need to shoot the ball well, which means they need to run their offense. They need to actually set hard picks, make good decisions, control the boards. If you're the Celtics, you want to give yourself a chance to win this game, don't let them beat you in the rebounding department. Offensively and defensively. Make sure they're only getting 1 shot. Make sure you are getting the ball out and running at your pace. Jason Tatum can't be the only playmaker out there because he's going to turn it over. He is a great player. As much as I just praised him and said, this is the guy that the NBA wants, he's not a consistent playmaker. He needs to be making plays in certain situations. Everybody on that team needs to chip in as far as making plays. No, Marcus Smart is not a top-notch point guard. He's a good player, very good player. Not a top-notch point guard in regards to he's the guy that's most coveted. Of course, he's going to get a deal. He's a real NBA player, but, I wouldn't have him in my top 5 NBA point guards, and that's what I mean. But he can make plays. He's a tough defender, a pretty good shooter. Flops a little bit much for me, honestly, but very, very very high basketball IQ. I definitely think it's something that's underrated about his game. So he has to be involved. Jaylen Brown has to do exactly what he did in Game 5. He has to attack, be aggressive, take those shots, be smart about it, and play tough defense on the other end. And Robert Williams got more than 1 rebound in Game 5. Big difference. I thought Al Horford was more involved, and Derek White was great. They have 4 guys that scored 20 plus. You need that tonight on the road. Either that or you need Jaylen Brown and Jason Tatum to be very, very special to pull this out. If you do, that's when I think Miami's in trouble, and that's when I think it's going to show that the roster does matter. It does matter. If they walk them all the way down, man, I don't think it's a knock on the Heat. Honestly, they're playing without Hero. They're not supposed to be here. They're the 8th seed. I think you just got to take your hat off to the Heat and say job well done by Eric Spoelstra, Jimmy Butler, and the rest of the cast to get there. That's nothing to hang your head about. Even if you blow this 3-0 lead, I mean, nobody wants to be that team. But did it make the Warriors less the Warriors when they blew the 3-1 lead against Cleveland? Like, everybody still considers the Warriors a dynasty. Nobody's saying that they're not a dynasty because they blew that lead. They just happen to be the team that did that. You got to tip your hat to the guys that beat them. It should be credit. They should be credited more than the Warriors are actually criticized for that, in my opinion. But I do think it's a closer game tonight for my betting people. I do think it's gonna be. I would say. I think this game is in the low hundreds. I'm pretty sure the Celtics are favored. I probably wouldn't take more than +5. Honestly, I don't see the Celtics just coming there and blowing them out. The Heat got a lot of passion and heart, and that's a real team. And I praised their culture before, so I know they're gonna fight. They're gonna come to play. So I'm saying in the low hundreds, Celtics by 5. Definitely taking the Celtics with Elwood. That's his pick for the night. And we will finish, or no, we will analyze the game tomorrow at some point in time. Me and him will get up. Also, just a quick promo. As you can see, I'm rocking my Tees and Trees shirt. That's going to be from the upcoming clothing line, Marked Up Clothing. It's just a prototype, but big shout out to my man, Adris, who helped me get the graphics together. We're working to get some merch. We're definitely going to have some front office podcast merch coming soon for you guys, the subscribers. Hopefully the numbers keep coming up. Thank you for everybody who is subscribing. It's amazing, that, it doesn't matter how many people we touch or how many people we actually interact with. If you're rocking with what we're doing, we appreciate it from the bottom of our hearts. So thank you so much for that. Now we're going to transition. I'm going to have 2 separate videos. I just wanted to get this one up. Hopefully before the game starts, depending on how fast it uploads to YouTube. And then I'm going to take a quick break. Tees and Trees need to gear up for this next episode with Kwame Brown and the Shannon Sharp debacle. Talk about who's right, who's wrong. Just basketball points, not them going at each other. I don't condone that. Y'all grown men, and it just ain't necessary on either side. But we'll talk about that on the next episode of it. It should be up probably 30 minutes after this one uploads to YouTube. So remember, Polo and Elwood are both taking the Celtics tonight. Betting people, don't take more than +5. And we'll see you on the back end. Peace.